All right, guys, we have the A6700 here. We're going to pit this up against the Pocket 3, and we're wondering about the ZV-E10 Mark II. Now, that's a great camera. I mean, it really is. It's definitely an upgrade from the ZV-E10. However, at $999, now you're out of that best price range. Is it worth it getting it, or should you go up to the A6700? Well, let's take a look. Let's check it out. Let's compare the two. So this is the A6700. So this is the video quality you're gonna get-ish. This is on acetone, just walking out here, doing my thing. This is on active stabilization. Problem with the ZV-E10, that's one of the things you're giving up. You're gonna be giving up the 1.4, 1.5 times crop instead of just the 10% crop that the A6700 has if you move up. But you say, there's a $400 difference. Well, that's true. You know, this is on active stable right now. So it's a $400 difference, but I paid $11.50 for this. So now you're like, okay, now there's a $150 difference. So you need to ask yourself, is it worth giving up what the A6700 has? And what are you gonna get with the ZV-10 that you don't have with the 6700? First thing is, you're giving up the viewfinder. No viewfinder on the ZV-E10 Mark II. You're also giving up the IBIS. There's no IBIS on the ZV-E10 too. You're giving up the AI chip if you want to do inside. I mean, is that a big deal? I don't know. For the AI, if you want to look at bugs and insects and you need AI autofocus on that, well, there you go. You're also giving up 4K 120, which isn't a big deal. I mean, but it might be to you. I mean, 120 on the A6700 has a heavy crop, right? So, but at least you have it. So it's better to have it than not have it, even if it's not the best. Just saying. You also are giving up, the front dial that the A6700 has, and you're also giving up the custom buttons. So it's a little more customizable, the A6700. So you're giving up some of a little bit of the photo features. There's no mechanical shutter. So if you don't take photos with it, then that's not going to matter to you. But that's what you're giving up if you don't get the 6700 versus the ZV-E10 Mark II. With the ZV-E10 Mark II, is actually, what I love about it is the tally lamp, guys. Oh, I love a tally lamp. 6700 does not have a tally lamp. It's just got the, it does the red record thing around the rim. And that's okay, but it's a dedicated tally lamp. That's the bee's knees for me. So you get that, you get the tally lamp, and if you put it into portrait mode, like that, you get the user interface that switches, but for me, I don't shoot like that, so whatevs. But if you don't need the IBIS and all those other things, then the ZV-10, I mean, you're going to get the same picture quality. So you're not going to get any better picture quality. The only frame rate you're really giving up is just the 120 4K. Other than that, everything else is the same. So, I mean, if it's going to be on a tripod and you just want the 10-bit 222 4K and all that, 10-bit 422, then that's cool. That's the way to go. I'm shooting on the 11mm 1.8, by the way. And I don't know how shaky it is, so hopefully it's usable. But this is just the the active stage, so it's a 10% crop. But as you can see with the 11mm, it's definitely plenty big enough. But let's take a look at the Pocket 3 and just throw that in the mix too. Because if you can only afford one, which one do you get? Well, if you're going to be in the studio most of the time, I'd go with the ZV-E10, ZV-10 Mark II, or the A6700. But if you're going to be walking around doing this, well, let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. And we'll compare that to this and kind of weigh the options of that, or that might make a good B cam for you. It does make a good B cam for you. It makes a good vlogging cam, and then have one like this with the ZV-E10 1 or 2 set up on a tripod. So let's take a look at that camera and check it. All right, guys, now I'm on the Pocket 3, the old vlogging machine that it is here. So let's take a look at this video quality. Now, how's this look? Now, this is on the basically the standard normal color profile, and obviously the stabilization is great. It's got the 20 millimeter lens. The problem with this is it's not interchangeable, so this is what you get. This is the only lens you get, and that's what you got to stick with. The good news is, for the creator combo, it's less than the ZV-E10 Mark II, but you also get this mic that comes with it. So it's almost a complete package. Plus the extra battery thing, and it charges in like 20 minutes from like 0% up to 80 to like 20 minutes. It's crazy. I mean, it charges like awesome. And you get the wide angle lens and all that as well. ZV-E10 is light. ZV-E10 2 is light. DJI Pocket 3 is even lighter. So if you want it for this is great, right? This is great. I mean, as far as lightness, wow. You know, I just went from holding that to holding this. Big difference. This does 4K 120. This does 4K 60. So, I mean, for what this does, it's a great value. The problem is, it's not the best for in studio. I mean, it's okay, but it's not going to be the best for you, right? You got to pretty much, the sun's going down, and you got to watch this thing in low light, right? So, but this is a great vlogging camera. If that's what you want it for, then that's great. So that's why it's a good combo. It's like, I really would use the ZV-E10 for vlogging, because that's what the other thing you give up, right, is that stabilization. You only get the digital, so you have to raise your shutter speed. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Even in Catalyst browser, you got to have about a 200 shutter speed. Where the Pocket 3, you don't have to, so that helps a little bit too. But with the 6700, you don't have to have as high of a shutter speed, but you still do if you use active, but at least it's only a 10% crop, so you got to kind of weigh your options there. But obviously, it's way better to have IBIS than not have it. But if you don't need it, if it's locked off on a tripod, right? It's kind of confusing now, because that $1,000 price point for the ZV-E10 Mark II, that $1,000 price point, you're starting to get into territory now. You know, you're starting to, you know, the Pocket 3s, you know, you're talking about $669 or whatever. You're still in that range of the ZV-E10 Mark I, and so those are all good bang for your buck. Best bang for your buck right now, Sony, ZV-E10 Mark I. ZV-E10 Mark II is great if you want this step up, but if it's gonna be locked off on a tripod, ZV-E10 Mark I still the best bang. You can get it right now, $100 off. It's like you'll get or use $500, $550. I mean, with a lens, maybe, you know, that's hard to beat. If you just want to YouTube, you could buy that and this almost. You're right. You could buy this, that, and this. So you could get the A and the B cam all at once for the ZV-E10 Mark II. I'm not saying it's not a great camera, guys. It really is. But is it gonna do much more than the ZV-E10 Mark II? No, you're paying for the features. That's what you're paying for, right? In the ZV-E10 Mark II. Which is great, and I love that. But if you're gonna pay that little extra, if you're gonna go to $1,000, now you're at like the Canon R8. You can get it used on eBay for $1,100. You're talking $100 more, and you're getting a full frame. But again, Canon, I got out of that system because the lens it was driving me crazy. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But the best Canon bang for your buck is the R8 right now. It really is. And then the S5 II, you get one of those used for $1,400. I mean, yeah, that's, now you're talking, you know, you're at the but that's the price of A6700 new. You can get an S5 II new right now for like $16 with a lens, $16.99 with a lens. I mean, when you hit that $1,000 price point, you're within $100 of getting cameras that can do much more for only $100 or $200 more. But that's a stretch. So I understand that. I know to pay $100, $200 more, it's like, you know, it makes a difference. But I mean, if you only got $1,000, you can get a ZV-E10 Mark I and a Pocket 3 almost, right? If you get the ZV-E10 used, those things are workhorses, right? The ZV-E10 Mark I's, they're pretty stable. I've had mine for a long time and it never went bad on me. So anyway, just wanted to throw those comparisons out there, and you let me know what you think. This is the Pocket 3. Obviously, you know the stabilization is good. You know the story on this thing, built-in gimbal, yada yada. So for walking and talking, you could have this, and in the studio, ZV-E10 Mark I, and now $1,100, because that's what it's going to cost. If you get the ZV-E10 Mark II, and you don't have a lens, it's going to cost you $1,100. And that lens, this is going to look better. I've done a vlogging with the kit lens on the ZV-E10 and this. No way, dude. To beat the Pocket 3 with the ZV-E10 vlogging, you really need, you gotta have a better lens. Like the 11 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 15 millimeter, one of those. You have to. Otherwise, the kit lens ain't gonna do it. So you're gonna spend $1,100 minimum with the ZV-E10 Mark II, unless you already got your lenses, right? But if you're starting out from scratch, You're gonna spend $1,100 anyway. That's the price of one of these and a used ZV-E10, right? And then you get the lens, so you know they're 100 or 200 bucks. You know, that's what I'm saying. For another 100 or 200 bucks, you can get both. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below which way you think you would go. Let's say you're starting from scratch. What would you do? If I didn't already have the A6700, I'd probably still go for the A6700, even though I like the ZV-E10 and like white. I'd love that. I wish, you know, the A6700 came in white. But for me, for 150 bucks more, like I can't justify not getting the 6700. But if you're gonna buy new and you only buy new, then and you don't need the IBIS, then I'd say the ZV-E10 Mark II is great. It's a great camera. It's better than the R50, better than the R10. I've had both of those cameras. ZV-E10 Mark II is definitely better than those two, hands down. No questions asked. It's got the 4K 60 now, the 4K 10, 42210 bit, all that stuff. So yeah, so it's definitely better. That's tight, man. Or you could buy just the ZV-E10 Mark I with a lens for less than the ZV-E10 Mark II, right? I mean, if you want to talk budget, that's the boss. That's the budget, right? Like, if you got to be under $1,000, you need a lens. ZV-E10 Mark II ain't gonna do it. I mean, you can get the kit lens, and it'll get you by. It will, but man, you need a 1.4 for the APS-C to really shine. 1.4, 1.8, and the 2.8s are okay too, but like the Sigma 18 to 50. But anyway, all right, guys, I just wanted to throw that out to you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's get a discussion on that. I'm curious what you guys think. What kind of combination would you go? Right, $1,000 price point, because that's what that is. What would you get? What kind of combination would you get? All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye. This is a walking stabilization test here. There's a Pocket 3. Of course, this is going to look good. Just to show it to y'all. Okay, active mode on the A6700. How's this stabilization look this way? Just thought I'd give a comparison. This versus the Pocket 3. Oh yeah.